What is good, YouTube? What is good, Facebook, man? We here for another night. Last Word Productions, man. As you all know, I'm your host, Tavares Wilson, and I always get the last word. So the guys should be joining up soon. So before we do anything else, though, as always, man, if y'all not doing so already, go ahead, hit like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that bell notification, be notified whenever we do go live. And remember, we are starting up 2 shows per week. They will be Wednesdays, they will be Thursdays. Wednesday nights might be later times, around 10:30 Eastern time. These nights gonna remain the same, 8:30, 9:30 time. So in that ballpark, I'm gonna eventually work out a schedule permanently, so therefore you all can know when and where the show will be. But Wednesday, Thursday nights for sure, we're gonna be here, man. But before I get into everything I want to speak on in regards to the NFL games that we have left, we have 2 games left that will ultimately lead to the Super Bowl February 8th. I want to speak on the coaches that have been. We got somebody right now.
Yep.
Young boy Gino, what's up, bro? You coming up with new names every day, bro.
Man, I'm good. How you doing, T?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. So I was just about to get into the coaching hires that has happened thus far this offseason. And I want to speak on one. I'm gonna wait till everyone get here so we can speak on this one that happened today because I know it was a hot commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And so since we already spoke about John Harbaugh, let's speak on the moves that have been made or moves that we believe could be made and we think will be best. So I want to start with the vacancy so far. And as it stands right now, we know right now it's the Browns, we have the Bills, we have the Raiders, we have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Arizona as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's 2 more teams. No, 1 more team I'm missing. Excuse me.
Let's see.
I said Bills. I said Raiders. I said Cardinals.
Yeah, you said Bill Raiders. Oh, Steelers still open.
Steelers. That's the 15. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you this, Gino. So let's take out the Bills because I think the Bills are pretty much obviously the most attractive job because of Josh Allen. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of the Bills, who do you believe is the most attractive job? Who has the most attractive job?
I think that it's to me it's clearly the Steelers,
Okay.
and the reason I say that is the first thing that you need with a job is actually job security,
Mm.
and if you get hired by the Steelers, and as long as you're not brain dead, I mean that's 5 to 10 years guaranteed, bare minimum. We've seen how the Steelers operate. Now, if not another interesting thing on the table, if I just remove the Steelers, if the Raiders could convince me that we are moving into a new era of ownership, kind of like how the Lions found a good GM, and then we kind of turning the corner there, and I know I had the first overall pick, I would entertain the Raiders as well. But
Mm.
I would need almost a promise that the Lions kind of gave Dan Campbell
Mm.
his 6 years, full control with you and the GM. We're not gonna mess with anything. Brady gonna stay in the booth. But if I had to rank, if I just had to just go, it's obviously for me it's still is number one because you do good, win 10 games, win 11 games. I mean, you got 10 to 15 years until you feel like stepping down.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, first off, what's up, Breeze? How you feeling, bro?
What's good, bro? What's good? What's up with y'all boys?
Man,
Not
chill.
much, not much. So we were just speaking on what job that is left is the most attractive, and which one do you think it is?
And which one's left? Run it by me. I think I know
It's the
Pittsburgh.
Bills, Steelers, Cardinals, Raiders, and Browns.
Um I mean it all depends on who I am as a coach. Um Honestly, if I'm a seasoned coach, like if I'm someone like a Brian Flores or somebody, like he's up for a coaching job this season, right? Or he's still DC and
He
Vikings,
been
Minnesota.
he been getting some interviews, but yeah.
Okay. So like if I'm someone like him, I'm really rolling with something like Cleveland because they have everything that I really built my career off of. Like, I'm a defensive genius, and I know offense, like they're struggling there, but I can get me an OC in there. But my forte is on the defensive side of the ball. And they have, like I said, they have Myles Garrett. They have a Schlesinger, who's my pick for defensive rookie of the year. The back end is pretty solid. The front seven is getting to the quarterback. Like, we all know with Cleveland, the problem was never their defense. It's always the offense. So in that regard, if I'm somebody like Brian Flores, somebody who's like defensive minded, I'm going with Cleveland. In any other aspect, I'm gonna have to go with Buffalo because of Josh Allen. Because, like, with the many things I can make happen with a player like Josh Allen, um, like we all can agree, Josh Allen is arguably top two, top three. However you want to put him in people's ranking today as quarterbacks. Some people got him two, some people got him three, some people got him one. I would say the Steelers, but like I said, it depends on who you are, because with that job comes a lot of pressure. And I don't think that job is just for like anybody to just come in like as like maybe a first time coach or something. I think like that's a job for somebody who has cachet, somebody who's been around the block before, someone who can handle what comes with being the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because I think in their whole existence, they had like three coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and even though they've been on a downslide, for the past 20 years, or when last time they went to the Super Bowl, like 07, 06, 07, right?
Yeah.
So the last 20 years, but the expectation for Pittsburgh is still high, and you got big shoes to fill, even though, people can say what they want about Mike Tomlin, but he set a standard in Pittsburgh, and you got big shoes to fill. It's not an easy job. So yeah, man, if I'm thinking, if I'm a defensive minded coach, I want to go to Cleveland. I want to be able to, take the next step with that Cleveland defense, and the offense look like it's coming around. They look like they're maybe just the offensive line away for really making noise. I'm not saying they're going to be like Super Bowl contenders or something, but they look like they're an offensive line away from actually being like a wild card team this season. I got trust in Shador. I like the weapons they got there. They could use another receiver, but what they have, the tight ends, Fannin and Joku, Quinshawn Junkins. I like what they have there. And the defense is stellar. So if I'm defensive minded, I'm going Cleveland. If I'm any other coach, I'm going with Buffalo, just because I think I can make water out of wine, make wine out of water with Josh Allen.
Brizzo, let me ask you something just real quick. What do you feel like are the expectations in Pittsburgh? Like, what do you feel like Tomlin has set these last 10 years? Because, I'm gonna answer, but then go into the question. I look at it from the perspective of, if I'm with the Steelers and I can get to 10 wins, 9 wins, or whatever, I'm bare minimum got a chance to get 10 years guaranteed.
For sure.
But if I go to Cleveland, maybe with that ownership group and with those GMs and all of that, I mean, I could win 10 to 11, have a bad year, have a bad couple of years, or just be average. And the pressure from the organization could push me down and push me out. Would that concern you? The fact that you don't know that Cleveland typically does not give that much grace compared to Pittsburgh, or that doesn't factor to you at all?
With what you said, I would definitely look at that, but keep in mind, Stefanski had how many good seasons in Cleveland? I know he won 2 Coach of the Year awards, but how many good seasons overall would you guys say he had?
2, maybe 3.
Ooh, yeah.
Out of stand.
Maybe the 2, and they put up with him for a shit show for a while. People were calling for Stefanski's job for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, man, if it all depends on where my expertise is, because like I said, if I'm Brian Flores, what defense, other than maybe the Texans, maybe the Jaguars, Seahawks, and stuff like that, what, from a personnel standpoint, the Cleveland Browns, that defense is stout, bro. They have studs at every level, and it's a really good defense, and it's anchored by arguably a top 5 defensive player of all time in Myles Garrett, and he doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Now, of course, the offense is a work in progress, but I think Flores can, him being in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, something like that, he can find an OC who can scheme up things the way he likes to scheme things. Of course, they didn't look good in Miami from the offensive standpoint, but I think whatever was going on in Miami, I think Shador is nothing like Tua. He can push the ball. He's mobile, and they got weapons there that actually benefit him, and the team rallies around him. Now with Pittsburgh, I understand what you're saying, like with the job security, but I don't know, man. I really don't. I really like. I don't see much to harp on with Pittsburgh, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you got TJ Watt, he's getting older.
Mm.
Cam Hayward, he's getting older. Um, Will Howard right now is an unknown. Like, you don't know what you got there. DK Metcalf is going to be DK Metcalf. Tyler Warren, Jalen Warren, Calvin Austin. Like, it's pieces there, but I think like right now for like the next 5 years, I think the Browns are in a better state than the Pittsburgh Steelers. As crazy as it sounds, I really
Yeah.
think like right now they're in a better state as far as personnel wise, not front office, but like team wise, bro. Because right now
I
the Steelers, I don't see like the glitz and glamours of the Steelers right now, other than the name, honestly.
like I know I say this from my perspective, Breezo. I do give you that the Browns right now have the better future. All right. The problem that I have with Cleveland is they always blow that future, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's not like a regular blow. It's like, it's like, no, that thing is just bam broken. Even though like you say, this guy's getting older in Pittsburgh, this guy's getting this guy's getting it. One thing that I feel like trust with the organization of Pittsburgh is that on average we get better teams, whether it's because there's no interference from here or there. We get better teams than Cleveland to actually compete. And sometimes it's not actually the coach's fault. Sometimes, going back to what I said, the GM, whatever it is about Pittsburgh, they can put together better teams even when they are at a deficit to Cleveland. Like, my concern with Cleveland would kind of be the same thing if I had to go, even though I brought up the Raiders, even if I had to go to Detroit, I would need a guarantee. I get to work with a GM I like, no interference, you know, when we have a bad season, like it's a lot of things with Cleveland that I just really, really feel like it has to be perfect to
Mm-hmm.
even get that job security to Pittsburgh. Where again, I would give it to you. Defense right now is in a better position. If I'm Brian Flores, I can get right now, but the issue might be with Cleveland and the decision they make right now today might look different than 2 to 3 years from now, and then I'm stuck. It's almost like if I got a good car right here and there's a great car right here, but every time this person sells a great car, it just breaks down, and this person car lasts for 10 years. As much as I want the pretty car right now, I don't trust that what you've given me is even gonna last that long if I'm Brian Flores. I don't even trust that y'all might not come down from upstairs. And I want to pick, and then y'all change the pick. I, Bill Belichick couldn't even figure it out there. Like, just me personally with Cleveland, it's almost like before Dan Campbell got with the Lions. I need so much assurances that you're not going to interfere. The GM is on my side. I have a lot. I will get the cap flexibility that I will get. And to Cleveland point, to be fair to Cleveland, they've been paying people. They've been trying to pay people here and there.
They've been cutting that check, boy.
So it's not Cincinnati, but I just need to know if we get, especially with the quarterback, if we get to the situation of if I like Shador and you don't get rid of him, or if I don't like him and you do, I'm not forced to keep him. Where everything is going to be based on me as a coach and whatever GM as what we want to do, not what you want to do. Whereas I look at Pittsburgh, there's a greater degree of whether it works against them or not to win a championship down the line. I have more freedom within that structure and job security. So I just look at Cleveland, and even though I made a case for Las Vegas, same thing there. I need assurance that y'all don't interfere. I don't know if those two organizations have it in them to not interfere at all. I just don't believe that those two organizations have it in them. That's where I would be skeptical if I was Brian Flores. if I could trust them not to interfere.
So let me ask you before I hand it to you, T. What was it? What was I gonna ask? What do you think the expectation is for the next Steelers coach coming in? Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, you know the at minimum 500.
Yeah. So I
You know,
look,
so
I
what
look.
do you think the expectation is? Because with Cleveland, is no way they can. Cleveland can't get any worse. They
Mhm.
can't.
And so I say when you say expectation, my expectation dealing with Pittsburgh is if I can get within striking distance of the playoffs, I got 10 to 15 years. And I might have a little two slumps. Even though Tomlin didn't have a slump here and there, Cowher had a couple of bad years here and there. Is where with Pittsburgh, I have a trust that if I am who I say I am, and they're not going to interfere, and I can pick my players, and I can pick my free agents, and I can do this, and I can do that, the expectation there to keep my job, not to have the fans upset, to keep my job is really to get in the playoffs. And if I can win a playoff game, that is good enough. The expectation with Cleveland is really at the mercy of upstairs. And I understand you said Breeze with Kevin got 6 years. I would just be concerned. What if we get in the playoffs? And I like Shador, and they don't upstairs. And they come to me and say, "Well, that's cool, but you got to make a decision." Or maybe I don't like Shador, and they continue to do. And then they say, "Well, it's going to be either or." Like so, that's why when you ask me about expectation, my biggest expectation is to keep my job. Pittsburgh will let me lose my job. To keep my job is contingent on Cleveland actually liking me enough to keep my job, which I'm like, nah, I don't. I'm good on Cleveland. And again, that's just my perspective on it.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me, the most attractive job is the Raiders, and I said this to Breeze the last time we spoke about this because, simply put, you have a clean slate. Like I get it. Like this is a traditionally historic franchise that's pretty much gets in their own way, and they don't really know how to evaluate talent that well. But the thing is, this is a team that has clean house. They've got rid of Pete Carroll after 1 year. They see that it wasn't going to work. They moved on from their entire draft room, and this is a team that, as well, not only did they bring in Tom Brady, but they are giving him almost the keys to pretty much help evaluate talents. And just because he's one of the greatest players we've ever seen, if not the greatest players we've ever seen, that doesn't mean he will be good at that. But it makes you feel better about where you were because this is a team that has not done anything in the last several years. So you just feel somewhat better about that stance, in my opinion. And then you top that off with the fact that they had the first overall pick, and they also have $80+ million in cap space. So you're looking at a situation where a GM or a head coach can come into a situation where he has the luxury of being able to spend money on players he wants, like a Patriots situation, as well as bringing in a young quarterback to pretty much reset your quarterback room cap hit. Because if they release Geno Smith, I believe they save somewhere between 25, 30 million on the books, but they lose, I believe, the same amount. So it's a break even. But at the same time, you're getting rid of a bad player. And I think whenever you can get rid of a bad player without getting yourself in the cap hell or that detrimental of a loss, I think it's good, in my opinion. So you go and you draft, and many believe they're going to draft Mendoza with the first overall pick. If you can somehow figure out your offensive line situation where you can actually create running lanes for Ashley Genty, and you can maybe go out and get you another receiver, go with these young guys you have, because they got some guys that can play. Tucker, pretty solid for them this past year. So it's we all know who Brock Bowers is. I mean, he was an all-pro as a rookie. So they got pieces around the offense that can make it better. And they have, if they don't move on from Max Crosby, they have one of the better defensive players in the league. So you have a situation where it's a clean slate, but you have talent to build off of. But if I'm not looking at the Raiders, I would go with the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen. But the thing with that, I believe with Josh Allen being on the team, you have higher expectations. Like you're not going to come in and have the luxury of trying to figure it out within the next 2-3 years. You're not going to have that because they don't know how much longer Josh Allen's going to play at this level. So that's why when you take these jobs like the Ravens, like the Bills, like a couple years back with the Rams when they got not when McVay, but when they got Stafford, there was an expectation because you're bringing in a top dollar quarterback. That's just what it is. But in this case, you're coming to the top dollar quarterback, so you have to be able to come in and pretty much have success almost immediately because you're not going to get the luxury of these first year coaches, second year coaches. You're just not going to get that when you're playing with a guy like Josh Allen who has shown he can play at an elite all-time level. So that's why for me, I think you get a little bit more leeway and luxury with the Raiders. I think you get a lot of cap space. You get the first overall draft pick. You can feel however you want to do with that, whether you take Mendoza, take the guy you think could be a quarterback for the next 18 years, or you trade back, get a boatload of picks and build up the roster. It's on you. But it's a multitude of ways that they can approach the situation. So that's why I view the Raiders situation, at least from the outside looking in, as the best situation a young coach would come into. A veteran coach, yeah, I can see the Bills, yeah, I can see the Browns. But I think if we're just going off of first time coaches or young guys, which the league has seemed to be transitioning to, I'm going with the Raiders for me.
Let me ask this question. It's kind of separate from the topic. Let me ask this question just real quick, Tavares. Do you feel as if the Bills' job is only for somebody that's like Mike McCarthy? As to where he's already won a championship. They've seen him win a championship with Aaron Rodgers. They already feel like he did decent with Dallas. Do you need a coach that if it goes bad in the first 2 years, they have to have some type of credentials in Buffalo to say, for lack of a better term, don't blame me because I'm proven.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying in terms of like the first 2 years, he could essentially say, I've proven to be able to win at this level. It's just I don't have the pieces I need, or whatever the case may be. I agree with that sentiment, but I don't agree with, with the last part you said, basically saying like, I have the credentials, so I'm proven. I don't think that's the case because, I don't think that needs to be the case, I should say, because of the fact that they're not going to let go of a veteran coach because they're going to give him more leeway naturally because he is a veteran. I don't think the first year coaches will get that. Let me get an example. I believe if someone like Jesse Minter went to the Bills, I believe if in his first 2 seasons, if they was deemed as unsuccessful, I think he would be out the door. And I don't think that's how you build a successful franchise. And the reason he'll be out the door is not because he's a bad coach, because I believe Jason Minter is going to be a good coach, but we're going to get to that soon. But it's because there's a short leash now. The ownership of the GMs, they've shown you, like, they're willing to put you out on the streets if the results aren't there, even when the roster isn't good enough, which many people believe. Despite the fact that they went out and they didn't draft the first a Pro Bowler in, I believe, in 7 years or some shit like that, outside of James Cook. They haven't drafted, an All-Pro outside of 2 players at this point. They have not done well building this roster. They don't bring in free agents. They don't attract a lot of guys who are essentially movers, like in terms of game changers for you. So the veteran coach, in my opinion, they're going to get that leeway because the veteran coach can come in and say, I know the formula that a team needs to build a successful franchise in order to compete for it all. The young coach ain't going to have that luxury because they're literally not proven.
So we're looking at guy again. Mike McCarthy is a placeholder. I'm not saying specifically Mike McCarthy.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but somebody like a Mike McCarthy has the credentials, been a coach.
Yeah, they have to go to the Bills.
But I agree, but not Mike McCarthy though. I say the only coach that can get away with something like that at this point in time is really Andy Reid, bro. Because what's the narrative on Mike McCarthy? He was an Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre merchant. Clearly, that's why he was great. He went to Dallas. Dallas had more than enough for him to make something happen. And even with Jerry there fucking up everything, Dallas did not succeed with them. They didn't come close to succeeding. So I think somebody who has like a cachet, like a Andy Reid or even a Bill Belichick, those are the people that can say, you know what, I've done this before. I don't have what I need to make it happen, so you can't blame me. Everyone else is fair game, no lie.
I think Mike Tomlin could come in and do the same though. I think he could.
And I'm not going. I again, Mike McCarthy is a placeholder for me. I'm gonna disagree a little bit, Breezo. I don't really after what we've seen, kind of the back end from New England from Bill, and what we've seen in North Carolina, how bad they look. Even though again they need to build that team, specifically Bill Belichick, I don't really think he would really have that long of a leash.
Yeah, I think the game is
There's a lot of people who look at him with a question mark now. But I get what you're saying, Breezo. That's your placeholder. Like McCarthy's my placeholder. I just don't know. It's like when you just start to talk about Buffalo, now it starts to me to sound complicated to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started to wonder about what the owner did with Keon Coleman, which I personally didn't like what he did to Keon Coleman. Even though I don't think Keon Coleman is a great player.
no. Regardless how you cut it, it was crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Then we started talking about, I think the GM isn't good at all, in my opinion. Then like you said, Tavares, if you are a young coach, it's gonna be your fault in those first 2 years.
Regardless, because you
Yeah,
see, this did to arguably a top 3 coach in their franchise's history. So it's like if they're going to do Sean McDermott that way, a guy who's literally drugged them out of the depths of hell, essentially, because the Bears was not competing for anything before Sean McDermott got in the building. I mean, I get it. Josh Allen was there. They went and got some talent. I get it. But he put together some damn good units, man. He's a defensive guy. They had some good teams on that side of the ball. But it's just, and that didn't matter. It didn't matter. Like, it literally came down to someone has to be the scapegoat. And it was him. They're gonna do the same thing to a wet behind the ear first year coach. They're gonna do the same thing.
yeah, and that's why I said for Buffalo yesterday, man, if I was a coach, man, I really would want my own GM going in there because I need to trust somebody that can
Yeah.
give me those 2 good drafts. And that's why Pittsburgh keep popping up for me because, like you said, like when you asked me about expectation, Breezo, Pittsburgh can tell me they got all these expectations and all of that. I don't really believe they got expectations.
I meant to answer that too. I don't think Pittsburgh got championship expectations or even playoff expectations, to be honest. I just think they care about as long as they could.
Yeah, I think you still need to at least get to the playoffs. But like as far as firing someone for not winning the championship, I honestly think with Pittsburgh that would take about 5 to 6, 7 years before you can get like that because they would just hang their hand Kyle,
I think
Tomlin,
playoffs
and
are just
all of that. Oh my bad, Tavares, go ahead.
nah. You could. I was just saying, like I genuinely believe in Pittsburgh. You can, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. That's my apologies. But I was just thinking out loud. Like I genuinely believe you can go 9-8 2 years and you'll be perfectly fine in Pittsburgh. I genuinely believe that.
And then throw in a 12-5 there. Like that's just how I look at it, Breezo. I feel like I know if William was up here, he'd say, nah, man, we gotta win championship, we gotta win championship, we gotta win championship. Now, I feel like coach get in here, bro, win 10, 11, 12 games, get to the conference championship. That in and of itself in Pittsburgh buys you 5 years because they would believe that this is about to be Cowher again, Tomlin again, and within that 15-year window, we'll get that one. I just believe that's just the mentality that the Steelers organization have. That as long as you don't go 3-14 and just bomb and look like a complete trash can, you can be here as long as you want to, or you can overstay your welcome about 5, 6, 7, 8 years like Tomlin.
And what's crazy about that?
Mhm.
Damn, I just lost my train of thought that quick. I was gonna say what's crazy about that is like with the whole like like the whole just don't suck. At least somewhat keep us in the ballpark of what we were, but show like we're eventually getting better, and then boom, I need like a nuclear season.
Mhm.
I think like coaches who are like gonna be first time coaches, like when Kellen Moore, when he went to New Orleans, people
Mhm.
were like, why would you leave the Eagles to go do that when you could have stayed in Philly? But I'm like, nah, he has an organization at ground zero right now. the expectations for New Orleans was honestly what? Nothing.
Yeah, people
Go in
First,
there,
first overall pick. Yeah.
leave.
so he can go in there. He can put his imprint all over the team. He can mold that team to what he wants it to be. That's my whole thing. Like right now, like I said, with Cleveland, they have a stacked defense. They have pieces there. Like I can see the vision there, but it's just no guidance there. The team is so penalized. Like that's such a heavily penalized team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing about Flores, his mind, he's so militant, so structured. He can be that guy to look, hold on, get it together, like tighten up. This is not what we're gonna do. I think he's that type of guy. I think in Pittsburgh, I think that's like the city where, like I said, that's the city for an established coach, a guy who has that experience under his belt. You get me? I think a new guy going in there, um, even if he goes out there and has those like those stellar like a couple standout seasons, something like that. I think he needs like a real splash in the pan. And right now with Will Howard being the unknown, like I hope Will Howard turns out to be great. But it's just like, when you have that unknown at the quarterback position, I can see if he was a part of the draft process and he picks his quarterback that he wants, then cool. I'm fine with it. But if I'm going in there with Will Howard and I see like, the way he used to play at Kansas State and everything at Ohio State and everything, maybe I don't like some of his deficiencies. Maybe I don't like his intangibles. Maybe it's stuff about him that just I'm not feeling.
Well, no disrespect to Will Howard. I mean, he's a 6th-round pick. I feel like I don't have to be married to Will Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys can like Will Howard. Not saying y'all, but Pittsburgh, you can like Will Howard for the sake of believing that something better can happen or whatever. But if I'm a coach, I mean, Will Howard, you got 1 year. I don't have to like you. You're not a 1st-round pick. You're not like the end all be all. So that's just how I look at it. Again, if I get there and I don't like Will Howard, you out of here, bro. Like unless Pittsburgh, like, yeah, this is our guy and we love him. Like, dude, you a 6th-round pick. We appreciate the hustle. We'll holler at you. You're not even Anthony Richardson 1st-round pick to where we had to deal with you that long.
Please don't bring that man up, bro. Please, man. Please don't bring that man up, bro.
Man, so all right, man, like I said, bro, but regardless, I get arguments on both sides and I understand. But I'm gonna just say this and we're gonna move on to the games themselves. Well, not the games themselves. We're gonna go through the coaches hired first. But I just personally believe, man, Steelers, I don't think the expectation is as high as we all believe it is because the gold and black. I think that's a team that's pretty content on just being good enough. I don't think they need to see Lombardi's being hosted. I genuinely don't think they need that. And they did need that, they would have got rid of Mike Tomlin a long time ago. But as far as Cleveland go, the reason I have a little more respect for their ownership and GM situation is because even though it's not working, they throw money and draft picks for talent like no other team in the league outside of maybe Philly. So it's like they're trying to make it's they just have shit luck, like being honest. They really do. And that's why I can somewhat see Cleveland going out to potentially get a big studded name coach or something. Like Brian Flores would be a good fit there, in my opinion. But I can see them trying to make some shit happen with Mike Tomlin or get him back in the division. But it just all depends on what they want to do. But for me, at the end of the day, man, I really do think the Raiders have the cleanest slate because there's just it's like what Breeze just alluded to with the Saints. There's zero expectations. You're at ground zero. Like, show us what you can do, essentially. And that's just it. Like, whether it's good enough or whether it's not good, hey, you got at least a 3-year window to make something shake. At least in my opinion, with the Raiders. Because at the end of the day, these coaches, most coaches, it seems to me, are on short leashes, it seems. But let's move off into the next subject, man. Y'all got anything else y'all want to add?
Nah, I'm good on that one.
All right, so let's speak on the coaches that have been hired so far. So the first one I want to speak on is the former Cleveland Brown coach himself, Kevin Stefanski, who was hired by the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. And there was some interesting exchange of words from Baker on Twitter, basically telling him, like, he never received a text or call or anything in regards to him being released. He just was telling him, like, I just can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. I love the bad blood in the water, man. I love football rivalries. I ain't gonna lie. But what's your thoughts on the move, Breeze? What you got?
Um, I feel like he's back in Cleveland again. Honestly, like no lie, I really do feel like he's back in Cleveland because what is Michael Penix gonna be? Is he the guy moving forward? I know. They still got Kirk on the roster, but Kirk is like Kirk Cousins right now. Like post Achilles, maybe he can come in and give you maybe 200-300 yard games a year, but that's it. You got a stellar running back in Bijan Robinson. When you was in Cleveland, you did have prime Nick Chubb. You got some nice pieces on defense. You had nice pieces in Cleveland. You had Njoku in Cleveland. You got Kyle Pitts now. Like, bro, I feel like he's in the same situation again, and he's proven to not be that good when it comes to actually, like, going all in and being a good coach for a quarterback. Honestly, when he had the star-studded roster with Baker and Odell and Jarvis Landry and all this stuff, he had these rock stars on the team. They looked good for a little bit, but then it crashed. So I'm not gonna lie. I think this was just like a heat of the moment pick. Like, okay, maybe this is the best available guy at that moment. I'm not saying he was the best coach available, but maybe on that moment for that one day that he was free, he was the best coach that can be signed. So they signed him. Really, I don't know where Atlanta is going with this because the quarterback is unknown right now. Like, what y'all think? I know Penix suffered like another ACL or another like meniscus tear or something like that.
It was ACL, yeah.
Like, bro, this is like a reoccurring thing now. And you wasted 180 million on Kirk, and you got first round money tied up in Penix. Bijan is going to be paid soon. You still got to make a decision on Kyle Pitts. Drake London's going to get paid soon. Jesse Bates, like you got all the, like you got so much to handle. I really think they're in a bad position right now, bro. The division is weak that they're in, but I really think that they're in a sucky position right now because the coach that they got wasn't a needle mover, even with the similar situation in Cleveland. So I think they're in like they're still in this. The move didn't phase me. It didn't.
Okay, what you got, Gino?
I think this is the worst possible move. And the reason is when you go to Atlanta Twitter and you go to Atlanta Reddit and you go to different places where Falcons fans are at, there is a lot of how could you do this to us? And the us that I'm seeing from a lot of the fans is do this to us, like the
Mm,
black people, the black, you know what I'm saying? Because there is a feeling from a lot of Atlanta fans. We saw what he did to Shador. Atlanta is, in a lot of people mind, black Mecca. And
mm,
they bring this guy here who is, right now, to a lot of people, a racist dude, and you bring him to Atlanta, and whether he's racist or not, now what ends up happening is you have a coach. Is the only way that people are going to be satisfied with him is you might just have to win a Super Bowl, which is extremely difficult. And you're gonna have to win the Super Bowl almost in 2 years, have no problems, no bad season, because now you have a fan base that has a narrative around him, true or not, I really don't care, around him that this dude is a racist, he's anti-culture, he's not of us, he's not our people, and now he's taking over the organization, and it could be a situation where he's gonna be sabotaging Penix or sabotaging this. So when you start out from day one with your own fans, not just saying this is a bad hire, but saying like you are a bad person,
mm.
like when your own fans are saying you are a bad person, the only thing that can salvage this is Michael Penix being an MVP level player and winning a championship.
Mm.
Because there's going to always be people that say whatever happened with Penix is the same thing that happened with Shador. They're gonna say whatever happened, and then don't let Shador have a great year without you. Now the narrative is gonna be what you held him back.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna get real ugly.
Yes. So from my perspective,
Especially with all the reports that came out. Yeah.
yeah. So from my perspective, not to just drag it out with Stefanski, I just don't believe like what it takes to keep his job is MVP Penix and or Super Bowl. Those are hard, especially when Penix to me is not going to be an MVP player,
Mm,
and you're probably not going to win a Super Bowl.
mm,
Like so, to me, Stefanski, I would almost add if I was his agent, I would just say, "Are you like trying to get fired? Are you trying not to be in the? Are you just trying to get bought out in 3 years? Because this is probably the worst possible job you can consider. You damn near should have been begging Tennessee to take you or something. Like that would have been more shield in terms of your reputation than anything. So I think like man, that's probably the worst hire of the whole cycle, unless that dude just win a Super Bowl, and I mean immediately from how they sound.
right. So for me, man, I mean, I just don't think Kevin Stefanski is the same coach of the year caliber coach he once was. I mean, I think it's just that simple. The only thing that's really working in his favor, I do believe the Falcons have talent. I think, you know, Darnell Mooney could play, Drake London, emerging young receiver, Kyle Pitts, for his hiccups, for what he is as a player, he's still one of the more talented tight ends in the league. And you have a good O-line. You got a situation with Michael Penix where you have a young quarterback. The injuries are concerning, but he's a young quarterback who can still be molded into something potentially better because there's talent there, but it's just about the mental at this point and whether he can stay on the field. And they have a defense that started to come on pretty damn strong at the end of the year, especially the pass rushers like Mark Pierce Jr. and the other dude they drafted. I forgot his name, but they got some talent, man. And the thing is, though, you're in a situation where you have certain expectations because of what you were saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're in a situation where you're coming to pretty much the new Hollywood, and we all know what it's filled with and who pretty much makes it go. So you're leaving a team after a situation where you pretty much forced the pale kid on the field over the other kid. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, why? When one was clearly the better option over the other. And now you get into questioning not only a person's coaching, but their ethics and morals. And when you start to have that issue, you are already in a situation where you could potentially lose your locker room. And everyone knows once a coach loses the locker room, it's over. It's no gaining back the trust. There's no gaining back the players that are there. It's just done. Someone has to go. It's either the players or it's the coach. So he's in a situation where he's going to have to see early. And it's because he has talent and it's because the division is not that strong. You're in a division where the Panthers just won the division and they lost their last game of the year. So it's a situation that you have to come in and see almost immediate success. I'm not gonna say they have to win a Super Bowl year one. I don't think that's the case. But at the bare minimum, they have to be competing for that division throughout the entire season, if not win it at this point. So they need to see that from him in order for people to have even any kind of remote little bit of faith in him. Because I just don't really see it. I mean, yeah, you got the fans who want to support it because it's the team, but you have guys who are, social media is everywhere, is everything now. You have guys that see what happened and what occurred in Cleveland for months with Shador, and they're just going to sit there and psychoanalyze the situation and know and feel as if they know what Kevin Stefanski is in terms of a person. So it's gonna be pretty difficult for him to escape certain spaces, in my opinion. So the move itself, I'm not that big on, but I mean, I guess you bring in a guy who you feel as if is better than Raheem Morris. You bring in an offensive guy, you got offensive talent, so we'll see how it goes.
But look, I'm not gonna lie. Before we move on, I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of the flack that's coming his way, like we gotta somewhat look at it from a different angle as well. Because when they traded for Deshaun Watson wasn't the guy for that system. Deshaun Watson, they in Houston, they was implementing Clemson's offense because that's all Deshaun Watson could run. Deshaun Watson was terrible at reading offenses. I mean,
Yeah,
reading defenses.
I think that's
So,
indictment too, though.
So okay, but I mean, I get you on that, but bro, like this is not my guy. I can't do nothing with this guy. This isn't my guy. He can't work in my system. I know you're supposed to build your system around your quarterback, but if the narrative on Deshaun Watson that deep into his career was that he can only run one offense, bro, that I give Stefanski a little grace on that one. And then with the Shador and Dylan Gabriel thing, we draft two quarterbacks in one draft, and you basically tell me make a decision, like put two and two together, make it work. Like, bro, I think that'll be difficult for any coach to manage, bro, because you drafted this kid in the third round, which quintessentially in a draft, that's a high pick. Like, that's a valuable pick. And then you draft a kid in the sixth round who has like a superstar aura around him. So no matter what happened, let's say if he would have played Shador from the start, right? And maybe bench Shador after 2-3 games, the narrative possibly would have been, oh, he didn't like Shador from the jump. He didn't give him a chance. He's a rookie. He's it. Like, I think he was like with that type of situation, bro. I think he was fucked from the beginning, bro.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying, Breezo. Like I definitely agree with you. I'm just saying that for the average fan, how they arrive to their conclusions is how they arrive to their conclusions, and they believe that it's his fault.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm just saying, me personally, if I would have been his agent, we about to beg Tennessee because Nashville probably don't give a damn about that. Like the city of Nashville is not gonna care like the city of Atlanta. So we on our way to Nashville. We on our way, maybe trying to get to Pittsburgh because maybe they care to a degree less than Atlanta. Atlanta, like there's just some Atlanta, New Orleans, Detroit, Chicago in that situation. You just take off the board. Those cities are predominantly black. It's gonna be a thing the whole season. Just being what it is, I'm out. I'm passing. So I understand what you're saying, though, Breezo, where the narrative might be unfair, but like we learn, even with athletes, sometimes, man, that narrative is a narrative, and it's a hell of a climb.
Yeah, I get you, bro.
For sure. I mean, listen, if we're speaking on the narrative in terms of just this being a pretty much stereotypical racial thing, cool. I could get why that could be tough. But if we're talking about the X's and O's and what's on the field, no. Stefanski gets no passes from me. And the reason is because, gang, you watch these dudes every day. There's no way on God's green earth he watched all the training camp, all of offseason, and OTAs, and sat there and came to the conclusion that Dylan Gabriel is the better of the two quarterbacks. There's no way. I don't care who was drafted where. You do not. There's no convincing a person who literally has a brain that Dylan Gabriel was better than Shador Sanders and throughout their durations of practices, especially with all the reports that came out about Shador Sanders pretty much lighting it up damn near every week. So when we looking at it from the perspective of the X's and O's, we also looking at a coach, which you alluded to, Breeze, that he couldn't make it work with a guy who they bought in for $300+ million guaranteed damn near. I get it. It's not his system. Deshaun Watson, we can sit here and say he needs to be better in certain aspects because you should be able to play certain ways in certain systems. The reality of the situation is this. Most quarterbacks are going to only be successful in certain systems because that's what they are as players. But if Pat Mahomes left the Chiefs right now, we don't know what Patrick Mahomes could be because Andy won't be there.
See, that was a bad example to use, bro.
No, it's not. The reason why
it is because bro, he's not a system quarterback, bro.
No,
he's
the reason why it's not is because we've seen Andy Reid quite literally make bad quarterbacks damn good. If Patrick Mahomes don't get drafted to the Chiefs, there's no telling what he will be. We know what he is now because he's been paired with one of the greatest offensive minds the game has ever seen. If Patrick Mahomes goes to the Bears, there's no guarantee he's going to become what he is.
I get what you're saying. But even if you go look at Texas Tech, he always been a wild card. He always been the system, bro.
Exactly. If he's a wild card, Breeze, that means he could have been good or bad. That's literally what being a wild card is.
But I get what you're saying, bro. But no, I think you jumped out the window saying if Patrick Mahomes, wait, hold on, because See, we talking top 5 greatest quarterback of all time here right now, brother.
Yes, but where you're taking and what you and who you play with matters. That matters just as much as the talent. That's the like. Let's look at Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was hailed as the biggest stat pattern the game has ever seen because of the numbers he put up in Detroit. He never won anything. The moment he leaves Detroit and go to the Rams, he becomes a Super Bowl champion, and they rewrites his entire legacy.
Now,
the situations matter. The coaching matters.
Okay, Gino, can you tell me the best defensive player that y'all had in Matt Stafford's tenure in Detroit?
Dominican Sue.
And Dominican Sue. Now, Matt Stafford had Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Floyd. Wasn't Von Miller on that Rams team?
Older, yeah.
Von Miller. Bro, that team was stacked, bro. Offensive player of the year. Like, bro, come on, man. That team was stacked, bro.
Look,
that team was insane, bro.
We can sit here and say the team was stacked all we want to.
It was insane, bro. I just think Pat Mahomes, bro, that was a wild one. I get what you're saying.
We can literally say that about multiple quarterbacks. We can say that about Sam Darnold just not like this past 2 years. We can say the shit about Daniel Jones this past year. We can say this shit. We can literally say the same thing about Geno Smith when he went from the Jets to the Seahawks and actually resurrected his career. Like,
and why we can't use them? Why you had to jump out the window and say?
I'm just saying. Like, listen, if you want to just revoke that example, then cool. But my point still remains the same. My point isn't that a great player and a great coach will make a way to find it to work together. That's just how football works because that's what you have to do in this league. When you have the talent at that position, you have to be able to accommodate that talent. And I believe if Kevin Stefanski is the coach we believe he is or what people believed he was, he should have made Deshaun Watson work in some capacity. I'm not saying he had to look exactly like how he did in Houston, but he should have been at least good. He wasn't even that. He should have been at least good. And then you turn that around. You now have a record of what I believe the last 3 years he went 13-38 or some shit like that. Like, nah, bro. Like, this isn't what good coaches do. That's not what good coaches are. They're not going to completely just leave their players out high and dry because they can't make it work in their system. They're not going to have losing records for 3 straight years and be one of the worst teams in the league. I just don't see it from that perspective in terms of the X's and O's. But we did get a comment from Mason. He said Darnold and Daniel Jones just did that too. But I mean, I'm just saying, bro, like we gotta put everything in perspective, man. But the next coach,
what happened to Mason, man? Hey, I ain't hear from bro in a while. What happened to him?
Oh, no, he's still around. He be commenting from time to time. But
sorry about the Vikings, man. But
sorry about the Vikings, crazy. But let's speak on Robert Saleh going to the Titans, man. So, what's your thoughts on that, Breeze? What you
got? I hate it, but I love it. Like I think we were talking. I did say I think it was one of these shows I said that the Titans were a place to look at because I don't know if it was in the chat or if it was on the show, but the Titans do have a bright future. They got a bunch of nice pieces. I like the weapons that they have there, and they do have Cam Ward, who's a young quarterback. I watch them as well because they are my division rival, and them as well. They're a heavily penalized team, and Robert Saleh and what's this guy's name? Robert Saleh and Brian Flores. They're both structured coaches. Very strict, very, very, very strategic. And I think they're going to clean up a lot of errors that they have over there in Tennessee because a lot of it was false starts, neutral zone infractions, offsides, holding. I think somebody like that who comes in with the approach of being strategic is going to be very helpful for a young team. I like it. I really like the signing. This was one of the best signings, honestly. Now, if he gets an offensive coordinator who can get the most out of Cam Ward, like harness that gift that he has, because Cam Ward is like naturally gifted. Like Cam Ward is one of those players that he reminds me of like in the essence of skill, like a Tracy McGrady, for example. Tracy McGrady didn't really have to work at anything. He was just naturally damn good. Cam Ward naturally has a strong arm. He has great athleticism. He can do a lot on the field. So he needs a coach that can help him harness that natural talent and actually make him great, because there's a difference between being talented and being great. So I think this is a good move, like a really, really good move. I like it. I say this like my maybe top 3, top 4 signing of the offseason.
Okay. We got a comment. We can't be fluid. Don't be sorry, man. We still got a chance to compete.
Stop lying.
Okay, not with McCarthy.
Go ahead, Jim.
Anyway, I think for me with Robert Sala, it just comes down to this: have you learned your lesson? I think that I understand that. Look, Zach Wilson is not as good as is not as should not be as good as Cam Ward. But for Robert Sala, this time around, whatever you have to do to make sure you develop Cam Ward needs to happen. Because I don't doubt that Robert Sala can get a great defense running. I don't doubt that Robert Sala might get some weapons there like he had in New York if he gets to get help from the GM. I just need to know, as Robert Sala learned how to pick whoever's going to be over his offense to make sure that they get the best from Cam Ward and they don't have another Zach Wilson situation, or they don't have to go out and try to get another Aaron Rodgers type of situation. I need to just be sure that for Robert Sala, because this could probably be the last time he's a head coach again if it doesn't work with Cam Ward. So the only thing that I'm not sure with Robert Sala, and it might not have been his fault because A Rod got hurt. Zach Wilson was ultimately trash, and I don't think you can help Zach Wilson other than help him be a backup, which is okay for Zach Wilson, makes a lot of money doing that. But you have to make sure that you fix Cam Ward, not fix Cam Ward, but develop Cam Ward. Because if you don't, I mean, you're just gonna be back in San Francisco. It's gonna be a welcome party. So that's just how I look at it. I think Robert Sala can do a lot of great things. I just hope he learned his lesson to make sure his quarterback is ready to go. And again, I think Cam is way better than Zach. But if Cam is not developed all the way, somebody else will be coaching Cam in 3 to 4 years.
Okay. For me, I think this is the second best coaching signing this offseason. And well, I gotta say this, man. Robert Sala to me was just giving the short end of the stick. I mean, it's the New York Jets, bro. There's nothing more to say, in my personal opinion. Like, you have a situation where your quarterback literally blows out his Achilles within the first 4 plays of the season starting. You go turn to Zach Wilson, a guy who has been quite literally horrendous his entire career. And to top that off, you have an owner and GM quite literally actively working against you and trying to pin the blame on you for why it's not working. So it was a bad situation all around with New York, man. So I'm not going to rag on Robert Sala for why it didn't work in New York, because it literally works for nobody in New York. It could be players, it could be coaches. It's literally no one that thrives there within the last 15 years. It just hasn't happened. So with that being said, though, I do agree that he has to show at the bare minimum to be able to bring in a staff that can help develop young talent, because the Titans are a young team. They have DK, they have Cam Ward, they have, you know,
Al Maynard.
yes, they got him too. They got the young running back they drafted this year as well. I mean, last season as well. So it's like you have talent around them that can pretty much still be dyed in any color. It's a blank canvas. Now, what are you going to do with it is the question. So if he can bring in, and I think he has the connections around the league to do so. If he could bring in guys who can actually be good offensive minds that can put good situations into place for these players to be their best version of themselves or to eventually become that, I truly believe the sky is the limit for the team, because I think they got talent on the defensive side. And I know he's going to coach a damn good defense regardless of wherever he goes. So it's the situation where it just depends on some of these coaches' downfall is the fact that they can't find a good staff. And I don't want that to be the case for Robert Saleh, because I do think he's a good coach. I just don't know if he can find a good staff yet. And that's the problem. And
Yeah.
if he can do that, I think they have a bright future.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Tavares. Because again, that's just my only question And even when it came to the internal locker room issues with New York, I'll give him a pass on that. I just thinking about what could lose him his job is one, can't have any more just ridiculous internal locker room issues like they had in New York. No matter who fault we feel like that was, in that locker room, whatever. And he has to develop. Like if he doesn't do those, like if one of those two things or both of those things happen, I think it's be his last time being a head coach. But if it don't happen, like you said, I think he's a great mind. Can play deep. He can get defense going. They can win a lot of games. I hope he pick good staff too. Because if he get a good offensive coordinator, I know that's your rival, Brizo. So I know you don't want that to happen. But if he gets a good offensive coordinator, I think Dayball can still be a good offensive coordinator, something like that, or whoever we believe in. Tennessee will be fine. I know you don't want that to happen, Brizo, but
It's not gonna happen. I'm speaking into existence. It's
yes.
not gonna happen.
Crazy work, boy. Crazy.
Watch. It's not gonna happen. Watch.
Talked about with all these coaching openings. I seen some reports about John Gruden,
Mhm.
but I haven't seen an interview with no one.
I'm not gonna lie. I think at this point in time, bro, I think Gruden's coaching style is archaic at this point, bro. I don't think he needs to be a coach anymore, bro. I really
Why?
don't. I think he's more of a personnel, like more of a just like a media personnel at this point, bro. Like like I'm hearing reports like players don't like they're not fond of him. They don't like his style. Is it like
Yeah.
his style is like too like it's just very like I said archaic. Like the game has been to this point. The game is like I'm not saying it's bad, but the game is like kind of dumbed down.
Mhm.
And when you hear some of the plays and the formations that John Gruden is calling, you're like, what the hell? Like him, Sean Payton, like, bro, like their plays sound like religious scriptures, bro. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, gee, like they're killing quarterbacks with these plays, bro. And shout out to Bo Nix. I give Bo Nix a lot of slack, bro. But when I forgot what the play was, but it was like maybe like 14 different calls on one play, bro. Like literally just on one play, bro. And they're like, yeah, Sean Payton, if you miss the one play, he's not gonna repeat it and he gets pissed off at you. Like, bro, he's like those old coaches are very impatient, bro. They're like my way or the highway type of guys, bro. And I think that style is you got to be more player friendly nowadays, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure. But Mason has said, watch that ball go be the OC in Tennessee. And I ain't gonna lie, that's not far fetched to say. I ain't gonna lie, because I don't think Dayball's getting a coaching job, head coaching job at least. But let's speak on the head coach situation that did occur today with Jesse Minter going to Baltimore though. And I'm gonna start with you, Breeze. I mean, my bad, not Breeze. Gino, I'm gonna start with you, bro. What you think about that move?
I look at this move, and I think this is the best comparison I can have for it. Even though it's only been 1 year for him, and even though I don't like him because he kind of burnt the Lions, he's either going to be Ben Johnson or Mike McDaniel's. And what I mean is Jesse Minter has an amazing schematical mind. Like if you watch those games versus CJ Stroud in Ohio State, some of the things that he was able to do schematically to confuse them, even though it was college, to bridge that gap for us was really high level stuff. And then to bring it to the Chargers and have a number two, number three, or whatever they are, points defense,
Mm,
validated for me it wasn't just a college thing. It wasn't just him bullying college kids. He has a real great schematic mind for the defensive side of football. Now, the problem is, like you already know, T, what you saw with Mike McDaniels. I can't guarantee you that Jesse is a leader of men because a lot of the leadership of the overall architecture of men typically Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is the leader of Michigan. He is the leader of the Chargers. And Jesse, yes, Jesse has a real good relationship with the defense and people listen to him and things of that nature. When you have somebody who is so great up here, the only thing that's left for me is can you actually lead your team? If he can get the right OC, to work with Lamar, and he can get the right leadership with Baltimore, I think Baltimore really can get to the next level, like how we got to the next level. We were stuck here, and then he kind of pushed us here. If he does not have that leadership, and if he is a Mike McDaniels, where he is not respected by the players once he becomes a head coach, I think it can get bad in Baltimore quick. As much as I like Jesse Minter, I've been saying Jesse Minter, Jesse Minter, Jesse Minter, but it's a whole different ball game when you are no longer the guy that can lean on the other guy to be the leader.
Mm,
So me, when it comes to Baltimore, it's real simple. Either you got the Ben Johnson of defense, or you got the Mike McDaniels of defense. And going back to even like we said with Buffalo, where it's only so much rope there. You take over Baltimore, the expectation right now with Lamar with such a great generational talent at quarterback is
mm,
win a championship too. Like winning a championship is not just Buffalo's expectation, that's
mm,
Baltimore's expectation too, and
mm.
Lamar's expectation. So to me, this is real simple. Year one and year two, they need to be in the AFC championship game, and they need to have at least a defensive performance where they feel comfortable going into year three. Or I think like this it can go south real quick if Lamar specifically feels like, I mean, y'all wasting my time.
Okay. What you got, Breeze?
Like I said, I agree with Gino. Like I said, with these coaching jobs where you got these generational quarterback MVPs at quarterback, it's tough and it's going to be very rough on a first time head coach coming in to try and steer a ship that's been stagnant for a while. Like the Ravens, pretty much the expectation for them every year is arguably AFC Championship or Super Bowl. So with a new coach coming in, there's no room for regressing. We
Mm,
need this. We need the AFC Championship off the rip,
mm.
and then we need the Super Bowl. We don't need wild card. We don't need divisional. We don't need to be fighting for the playoffs. Like, and that's the crazy part with these jobs with these great quarterbacks and with these rich history, because you still got Derrick Henry, you got Lamar Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody who knows football will tell you, hey, that's enough to get you to where you want to go. But you gotta also galvanize the troops. You gotta get that defense on point. You gotta fix that O line because that line has been horrible.
Yeah, Lamar covers up a lot of that, bro.
Yeah, so
Because,
so so just like you got like I said, you got Robin and Batman and Derrick Henry and Lamar, but now you got to get the rest of the squad together, or you have to find a way to get so much out of Lamar and Derrick Henry to cover up the deficiencies of that line and get you to that AFC Championship or that Super Bowl. I think it's going to be difficult because he is a defensive minded coach, and like Gino said, he doesn't have Harbaugh to lean on to take some of the blame or take some of the pressure off of him. But for a first time coach, man, I'm wishing him the best. I just think the situation was there, so he took it, but it is a pretty tricky situation because when you got a Lamar, Mahomes, a Burrow, a Josh Allen, the expectation off the rip is greatness.
Yeah, and before you jump in, Tavares, another thing that makes his job difficult and has even more expectation, Mike McDonald in Seattle is viewed as like his big brother. So now there's an expectation also of I am getting the twin of Mike McDonald. So what Mike McDonald did in 2 years with Sam Darnold, there's a lot of people that feel like if you are his little brother and if you are the twin, if you are the brain trust like him, well, we should be where Seattle is within 2 years. No questions asked because we have a better quarterback. So that's just another level of it's only gonna go one either real good or real bad quick.
okay. I believe for me, man. Before I go, let me let Mason comment on. He said that's the give and take with old and young coaches. Old dudes might be outdated, but they're better leaders. The young guys are geniuses, but don't know how to get guys to buy in. I mean, it's some truth to that, but I do believe there are guys who essentially can do both.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, man, I think this was the best move thus far. And my only pushback for it is the same pushback I have for Robert Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to put together the staff? And that's and to be fair to Jesse Minter, that's the question for any head coach who's a first year head coach. So I'm not gonna make it seem like it's just him, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what the concern is. Can you put together the staff in order for your team to compete? And if he can't do that, I think the sky's the limit. I think they can genuinely compete for at the bare minimum AFC title appearance next season if he can do that. But if he can't, it's like what Breeze said, the expectation is the expectation. And if that's not met, it's gonna be a short-lived dream for him.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of the situation is when you play with the guys like y'all both had alluded to already, when you're playing with these all-star, superstar, generational talent players at these positions, especially quarterback, there's a certain standard that just needs to be upheld. And if that standard is not met, it's it's just good riddance.
Yeah.
But but let's move off into the games themselves that will be occurring this weekend, though, man. So I want to speak on the Patriots and the Broncos game firstly, and I want to ask y'all this before we get into the game itself: is there any chance that y'all believe, in y'all opinion, that the Broncos can pull it off with Jared Stidham?
You can go Brito.
Yeah, because of that defense. Honestly, the thing is, the thing that I've noticed, Jared Stidham. I was watching him even when he was with Belichick, and with Stidham is very smart with the football. He's very he's a very sharp reader when it comes to analyzing and getting the ball out of his hand, and he has an arm on him, and he rarely turns the ball over. And when you have a top defense like that, pretty much all he has to do is be Trent Dilfer. Because if we're being real, the Patriots, when they played the Texans, the only reason the score got out of hand like that is because of the turnovers and the picks leading to horrible field position. Honestly, the Patriots, they weren't just every drive marching up the field on the Texans. The defense was getting worn out because, bro, they're literally 3 and out. They go on the sideline, sip Gatorade, interception, fumble, bad field position, sack, terrible punts. So going in Denver in that high altitude, if that defense comes to play, Pat Surtain is Pat Surtain. Riley Moss holds up his end of the bargain. Hufanga, Nick Bonito, like that defense is star-studded, bro. And Sean Payton doesn't play the radio. Sean Payton, look at his track record, bro. He turned Taysom Hill into a pretty serviceable quarterback, a tight end gadget guy. He turned him into a pretty serviceable guy. We looked at Bo Nix coming out of Oregon. People looked at Bo Nix and was like, "Yo, is this guy is old? Can he be a franchise quarterback?" And Bo Nix looked pretty good. He looks pretty good. He looks like he's going to be the future of Denver. So I'm not expecting Sean Payton to go out there and make Jared Stidham win the game, but he's going to scheme up a way for Jared Stidham not to lose the game and keep them in the game and let the defense do what they do best. And I think that if that happens, then they have a real chance because Jared Stidham is not a turnover machine. Even with Belichick was high on him because he wasn't a turnover machine. He was very good at reading and processing. So it's a chance, bro. It's really a chance.
Let me ask you this real quick, Breezo. How many points? What is the max number of points you feel like the Broncos can allow and still win?
Um, I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game, bro. I think it's going to be a lot of kicks
Mm-hmm.
because both defenses are really good, both great defensive units. I do think that Broncos defense, they're gonna throw a lot of disguises at Drake May. They're gonna fake some blitzes. They're gonna play a lot of shell coverage. They're gonna mix it up on them. So they're gonna make it difficult. And that pass rush is elite. So I really would say the game will be maybe like a 15-12 type of game. It's gonna be a low scoring game. I don't expect to go out there and see fireworks, Rams versus Chiefs, 54-50 how it was. No, I don't expect to see that. So honestly, if that defense holds New England to maybe a touchdown and 2 field goals, I think they take it.
Okay, so defense can't give up more than like 13, 14.
Yeah,
That's
they can't. They can't because you're not gonna let Jared Stidham go out there and scramble around and do what you would let Bo Nix do. Because Jared Stidham, for what it's worth, is a backup quarterback. He's a backup for a reason. It didn't work in New England. He lost his job to Mac Jones for a reason. So, yeah, man.
Okay. How I kind of look at it too when we talk about the NFL, obviously anything is possible. So I'm more or less getting to the probable. I think that I think that it's I think that it can happen, but there's like a lot of things that have to happen for it to happen. Like I get an example of the Lions versus the Vikings is where Bresmer can't do anything. So I need to get takeaways. I need to put the I need May to give me the ball. And sometimes May, well, so far in the playoffs, will give you the ball. Like I need to get, like Brizzo said, stops. I need to the only thing that I just worry about is just in the situation if the Patriots get up 14-0. So I think from the Broncos' perspective, it's probable and you have a chance as long as you can force some turnovers. And in the NFL, turnovers can happen at any moment, and that's the only reason because I don't know if Drake May has reached Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts at his best in the playoffs to where he's automatic for 30 to 40 points. Josh Allen automatic for 30 to 40 points in the game. I don't think Drake May is there yet. And since he's not there yet, and he's kind of turned the ball over himself at times, that's what opens the door. And me personally, I still think Sean Payton as a coach is just a little bit better, in my opinion, than Vrabel right now, as to where he can split some type of a difference to get that game within, striking distance. But yeah, but obviously, if you tell me who I'm going to put money on, I'll put money on the Patriots to win. The Patriots should win. I think it would be disappointing, upsetting to the Patriots if they don't win. But I mean, there's a path for the Broncos to win because, like you said, Brees, they at home in that, right?
Yeah, I mean, be honest with y'all, man. I don't think it's a chance to hell. Be honest. For me, Jared Stidham is solid, but he's a backup quarterback. This is the biggest game he'll ever play in his life, potentially. And you have a guy he's probably taken some first team snaps throughout the season. He's probably been in the lineups for practices. He's live bullets, game. He hasn't played a game all year. This is not going to go the way he wants it to go, especially against that defense. And the reason I said that is because Mike Vrabel understands and knows he's coming into a situation that's probably going to happen once in a lifetime. Essentially, you have a chance to actually any and everything he's been holding back this season in terms of any exotic looks he can throw out at any coach. It's going to happen this game.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared Stidham is not going to be prepared for that. It doesn't matter how much film he watches on the team. It's not going to happen. Now, to counter that, the Patriots don't have much film on Jared Stidham, but again, it's Jared Stidham. Like this isn't a game changer who's coming into the game. But for me, the difference is I'm not sold on the Broncos making this game just that difficult in terms of their defensive unit. And the reason I'm not is because they have not been the same unit the back half of the season. They just haven't. They were on pace to set a record for sacks, and they pretty much plummeted to the earth with that. And then you see them get lit up by Trevor Lawrence for 40+. Then you go out, you see them in the playoffs. They're giving up 30+ to a team that had 5 turnovers in the game. So I'm not sold on the Broncos defense really making this that much of a difficult time for Drake May. Now, granted, Drake May has not played that great this playoff run, but he's played against 2 units that, in my opinion, you can make a legitimate argument were both better defenses than the Broncos defense. The Houston is without question.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, I mean, it's a legit case that could be made. So I'm not really sold on the fact that the defense is going to make it that much of a struggle. I think it's going to be a tough game regardless because you're on the road and you're playing to get a good unit at the end of the day. It's going to be a tough time. But from what I've seen from the Patriots this season, and one thing I know they will do regardless of what the situation is they're going to put up points. The last 7-8 weeks they've put up to end the season, they put up 24+ points a game. And I just simply don't think Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos, with the limited weapons they have, they're going to be able to compete with that. I just don't see that happening. Now, by the grace of God, it does happen. Then it's gonna be some
It's gonna be the right day.
it's gonna be uncomfortable conversations being had. But yeah, I just don't see that happening though, bro.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is tomorrow I can see a chance. That's all I'm saying. Because if you get
There's always a chance naturally because
yeah, if you turn that football over again, you have a weird day. But other than that, like again, if I got to put money on the game, Breeze will say, "Hey man, like I'm putting money on New England." Like that's how comfortable I will be in New England. But we'll see.
yeah,
Vrabel just better win because, I mean, it would go back to those narratives. That would be a bad narrative on his resume. You don't want to lose this game.
yeah,
That's the main thing. You don't want to lose it.
yeah. The one thing the Broncos do have going for themselves, they play with house money at this point. So you really don't have an expectation. So you go out there and play free. You literally don't have an expectation. So that's what they do have going for themselves. But I'm just not going to believe it, Jarrett Stidham. I can't do it. I'm not going to lie. But
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. Hey, he did play under Belichick, man, and Belichick told him a lot, man. So I'm not gonna lie, just from where he's been at in his career and what he's learned and the personnel that he's worked with, I wouldn't necessarily count him out. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna go out there and be Brady or nothing like that, but working under Belichick and then you working in the New England tree, now you working with Sean Payton, now you working with great minds, some of the greatest minds as coaches. I think he'll be prepared for the game. I don't expect him to go out there and shit the bed. I think he'll be more than prepared for the game, bro.
yeah, I mean, he could be prepared for sure, but there's a difference in talent at the end of the day. Like he can go out there and know the playbook like the back of his hand. It's cool. That sounds fantastic. That doesn't mean he can make the plays. Like everyone applauded and just pretty much oozed over how well a student of the game, someone like Jacoby Brissett or Ryan Fitzpatrick are in terms of the systems they play in, that what they do when they come in, that they're, sponges and all these other things. It don't result to winning. I mean, like that shit sounds good at the end of the day. I mean, it's cool. I get it. But we're not winning games. Like, that's what it comes down to. Is it a W or L in the column? And I just don't see what he's going to come into a first game situation, the biggest game of his career ever, probably, and what it's going to amount to. I just don't see that happening or working in his favor. Now, again, if it does, then hey, more power to him. Man. I can't say anything else about it. But I just don't see that shit happening personally.
Hey, with all due respect, Jacoby did have Arizona in a bunch of close games, bro.
They're one of the worst teams in the league, bro.
He did have them in a bunch of close games, though, bro.
These more victories have to stop, bro.
Hey, I'm just saying, bro. Arizona some shit, but Jacoby did have them in a bunch of close games, man.
They lost, Breeze.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
We're giving points for being almost
bro, because when you just say, Jacoby and Fitzpatrick being sponges and all this stuff, Arizona's defense wasn't the Broncos, bro.
The Arizona defense was their best units. Let's not talk like that unit was bad.
Bro, and you're saying that's the best unit, but bro, they weren't world beaters, bro.
They were better than their offense. The same
was
offense
not elite, bro. The defense was not elite by any stretch, bro.
No, I'm not saying they were elite. I'm saying they were better than their offense.
So see, doesn't that like so the offense is some putrid shit, and they're in some
that was
close
led by
games.
Let's not forget that part.
I'm saying they're in some close games. I'm not saying they're great, bro. I'm just saying like there were a lot of scenarios that they could have pulled out wins, but timely mistakes and errors fucked them up, bro.
They couldn't because their quarterback and the offense wasn't good enough. That's why they couldn't.
Man, go look at Jacoby numbers, man. Jacoby was balling.
The numbers, bro. The numbers are the numbers. That's
Jacoby
cool.
was balling, man.
When we listen, this is why I said we gotta watch the games. The man,
bro, I watched the Cardinals games, bro.
The man was out there short hopping throws, throwing timely bad interceptions.
What?
This, bro, I remember the game against the Rams, bro. I remember
The game, right? The one game.
but not the one game, the games. I've watched multiple Cardinal games.
So Gino, let me run something by you real quick.
Mhm.
Guess who the best tight end in the NFL was this season?
Man,
Cardinal.
been that.
Right.
That's not.
No.
Don't do that.
Guess who had a
Don't do
breakout
it. Don't
season
talk
this year?
like he. Don't talk like
Gino, guess who had a breakout season this year?
You're not about to do
Let
that.
me
You're
guess,
not about to do that.
McBride.
You're not about to make
Gino,
it seem like Jacoby
Gino
Brissett
had a
unlocked
breakout season this year, right?
He been that.
Right.
Had a breakout season this year.
He's been
After
good.
Kyler Murray couldn't get the man the ball. Kyler
He's
Murray
been-
had everybody on that team looking like garbage.
Mhm.
The man has been good. You talking like Trey McBride went
Trey
from mediocre to great.
McBride
He's
was never the
great.
unanimous best tight end in the NFL. He never was.
He was always viewed as a top 3 to 5 in the position. He's always been
So
damn
what's
good.
the difference between top 3 to 5 and the unanimous best?
He was the unanimous best because the unanimous best tight end were 2 of them.
Bro, he was the unanimous best this year, bro. He set the record for
Because
receptions
the
for
other
a
2
tight
niggas
end.
was hurt.
He set the record for receptions for a tight end. I think he got the most yards for a tight end, and he had double-digit touchdowns.
He set the most yards with Kyler Murray, but okay. You just told me K1 wasn't good enough to give him the ball.
So he set the most yards this year.
No, he set the most catches this year, not yards.
I said catches and didn't I say catches and yards?
Yeah, you said catch.
He didn't set yards this year. He said catches.
Bro, I could have swore he said catches and yards this year, bro.
Nah. Catches, yes, but not yards.
Bro, let me go.
He had the most yards for a tight end with 0 touchdowns last season with Kyler Murray. I remember that.
Watch this.
Okay. But like I said, man, hey, right or wrong, whatever Trey McBride did this season, Jacoby Brissett is not moving the needle for nobody. I mean,
but it shows, bro, if you have a game manager who knows what they're doing and you rely heavily on defense, you can make it happen.
And you can still lose badly every week. Not badly in terms of the score, but you can lose every week. I just don't see it happening, bro. But hey, I'm gonna move off into the next game, bro, since we pretty much all came to the consensus of the Patriots more than likely winning that game. But I want to speak on the game that is going to be, to me, blockbuster, and that's the Seahawks and the Rams. And before I let y'all go, I want to say this, bro.
Mhm.
If the Seahawks do not win this game, Sam Darnold, it has to be conversations being had in terms of he's just never going to be good enough. And the reason I say that is because I don't think the Seahawks are going to lose this game because the defense won't show up. I think the defense is going to play well, but they're going to have to put points on the board to win this game. Because at the end of the day, the defense could be first in scoring defense, which they are, all they want to. 12 and 17 taking the field, bro, it's going to be a long day, regardless of who's out there covering who. Kyron Williams is having a good playoff run. I know Blake Corum is playing. He's played well this season. They got a pretty damn good O-line, and you got the more than likely MVP of the league in Matthew Stafford. So the defense is going to have his hands full the entirety of the game. The offense has to go out there and put up points, period. And if Sam Darnold cannot do that, they're going to lose this game. And it's going to be in the hands of him and that offense. Because I just don't see them being able to hold the Rams under 20, 21 points. I don't see that happening. So if he can't do that, I just don't see what else we can be talking about with Sam Darnold. I think we have to conclude that he is what we thought he was, and that's a guy who can't live a lot like how I view Jared Goff, to be honest with you. Like, he's a guy who cannot live up to that moment. And the argument for him is that, at least in Jared Goff's favor, he's had good games in the playoffs to show that he could be somewhat capable. Sam Darnold doesn't have any of that shit. So it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow for the Seahawks, in my opinion, if that does happen. But hold on, wait, let me see what Mason say. Darnold been in a team that's worth a damn, not even 2 full seasons. T tripping right now, man. Gang, listen, I know what Sam Darnold is. I've seen it for 6 years, bro. Y'all want to sit here and crown Sam Darnold something good because he's been on loaded fucking teams. By all means, I'm not sipping that Kool-Aid, bro. The man threw for less than 125 yards and won the game by 30 points the other night. So hey, if you want to give him that, cool, gang. I get you a Viking fan, but no, I'm not giving him that. But go ahead, what you got?
I don't. I think it can come down to Sam because I know the Seahawks were able at one point to win a game against the Rams where it was kind of low scoring. That's why it can. You know, I get concerned about Sam. I get concerned about Sam Darnold when pressure started to get from the front four. Kind of like CJ Stroud overall, pressure really starts to get rolling. Sam Darnold starts to see. I don't know what he sees, to be honest. I was gonna try to find. I don't know. I have no idea what he sees. Versus the Lions, I have no idea what he's seeing. Obviously, looking back, our cornerbacks were like, yeah, we shut down Addison, we shut down Jefferson, blah blah blah. I mean, you can go watch. Like sometimes they were just open, but Sam Darnold just couldn't see them. He kind of just takes himself out the game. Even when we talked about if JSN could break the record, why did we say he couldn't break the record? Because Sam Darnold. Like we didn't question JSN, we questioned if Sam Darnold could keep it rolling. There is a way that I feel like the Seahawks could win the game and the defense play good enough and the score is low enough because the Seahawks can run the ball pretty good too when they get in rhythm. I get concerned in a situation where it does become a shootout. And then on top of that, now you got Jared Verse and you got the rest of those pass rushers starting to get after Sam Darnold. Now I'm going to pick Seattle because I respect also the 12th man in the playoffs with that environment entails and what it brings, and how I feel like that environment is good enough to get you some stops that you might not deserve talent wise, and interceptions and turnovers you might not deserve talent wise. I respect that environment is one of the few environments that can generate plays that you might not deserve. I just feel like T, if it's a situation where the Rams overcome that and the Rams get to rolling, I don't know if Sam Donald is putting up 40 points on the board. That's my concern. I have enough respect for Mike McDonald, the defense, the environment to say the Seahawks are going to win 26-24. They're going to get to 26 on the strength of a turnover that the environment induces and they just score. JSN making a play, one run, and a couple of kicks. That's how I see it go. But if it gets to a situation where it's bam, 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 we got to go bam for bam, and scoring, Sam Darnold gonna run out of money. They're gonna put him out the club, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Hold on. Before you go, Breeze, let me show this. Because his coach is a defensive genius in Seattle. You saw him in his Jets uniform, and you yourself, not even an hour ago, admitted not even Saleh could fix that dumpster fire. Here's the problem, Mason. Robert Saleh still went out there and coached a good unit for what his specialty was. The Jets defense, those 2-3 years he was there, they are regarded as one of the best defenses in the league. And regardless of how you want to view the situation, how it worked out with the Jets in terms of the success they had, does not take away from the fact that Robert Saleh still came in and did his job for what he was brought in to do. That was build a good defense and attempt to fix the quarterback. There's no fixing Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is what Zach Wilson is. So they brought in Aaron Rodgers to try to combat that or to try to make that better, and they couldn't do it because Aaron Rodgers he tore his Achilles, he ruptured his Achilles, he got hurt, came back the next season. He's literally in his 40s trying to recover from an Achilles injury and couldn't do it. So we could sit here and we could go band for band, excuse for excuse. Regardless, I've seen Sam Darnold in the situations, and it did not look good. Them same tendencies with the Jets showed up against the Rams last season in the playoffs. They showed up against Detroit before the season was over, before the game. Not before the game, before the division. And on top of that, we've seen it just this past week with the Niners. The difference was the Niners simply were not good enough to compete in the game because the Niners did not have the talents. That's what it came down to. It wasn't that Sam Darnold went out there and proved anyone wrong. The Niners just simply couldn't keep up with the team in front of them. That's what happened. So again, I'm not sitting here telling anyone Sam Darnold can't prove me wrong. I'm not even saying Sam Darnold's gonna have a bad game. What I'm saying is, if the Seahawks lose this game and Sam Darnold does not play well, I'm out. Is no more next season. Is no more. He can build off this. He can fix that. I'm done. It's just over for me. I no longer want to see Sam Darnold. If I'm a Seahawks fan, I don't want to see him in the uniform because this is who he is. Some things you just won't be able to change about yourself as a player. And if that's the case after this Sunday, then I'm done. If I'm a Seahawks fan, I'll be done. But what you got, Breeze?
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Sam Donald, number one, he's going in there handicapped. He has an oblique injury for one. Number two, moments are his kryptonite. Big moments. Even that last game when they played against the Rams, that fluke 2-point conversion, a bunch
Yeah,
of timely penalties, bro. They got away with one. But as you see, like, going later on into the playoffs, these refs are letting a lot of stuff go. They're not being, very, very friendly with the whistle. Like, they're letting stuff go. So Sam Darnold's going to have to make plays. And the Rams have his number. Like I said, I think it was, last year they played against the Rams. He was sacked 8 times, not because the line just gave up instant protection. No, you can see Sam Darnold just didn't know what to do. He didn't know, bro. He saw ghosts, man. I thought it was horrible on Herbert. It was horrible on Darnold. What you saw this year against the Chargers and the Patriots, what Herbert went through, bro. Darnold was just getting
yeah,
demolished back
yeah. It
there,
was
bro.
horrible. It
The
was horrible.
announcers was crashing out. Just throw the ball, run, Sam, run, like, bro. They was going crazy. So they have the blueprint. They know what to do to get to Sam. They know what coverages to play. They know that that team in Seattle right now is kind of similar to what they had in Minnesota personnel wise. He has a number one that he's going to want to spam in JSN the same way he'll spam in Jettas. He has a reliable 2 in Shaheed the same way he had Addison. They got a solid running back. They got solid tight end. They know how to get after Sam. So Sam is going to have to overcome himself in this game. But it's gonna be ugly, bro, because I expect him to bring the house. And Sam being injured with that oblique injury, how much punishment is he gonna take before he starts getting gun shy? And that's what I'm thinking, man. Well, I am taking the Rams to win it though. All because when the fate of the world is on the line, I am not putting my money on Sam Darnold, bro. I'm not.
Now, not to cut you off, T. I think I just sitting here thinking, like how you said with Jared Goff, right? How you don't believe in Jared Goff. I think that if you are the Seahawks, there is a game that you can go back and watch, and you can create the circumstance, win the game versus the Rams, is which is what the Lions did versus the Ram in 2023. We're going back to where you said Breezo is where they kind of been letting things get physical. The Lions and I obviously had Devontae Adams and but the Lions got extremely physical and disrupted paths in Sean McVay offense. If they're not gonna call those things, and I'm the Seahawks, I am Terrion Arnold, Sauce Gardner across the board. Like I'm coming, like if I'm the Seahawks, I'm starting this game with the intention to see how physical can I be in disrupting these routes. Because what I do know with Matthew Stafford sometimes, if you can disrupt the route and rotation of his players, he will throw you one. And if he throws you one in that environment, like I believe either he threw one against us or he fumbled or he got sacked, the moment he threw one against us in Detroit in that environment, it flipped the entire game and kind of put LA kind of like in a panic and in a shock. Versus Chicago, you could see at times, even though it was snowing, kind of a panic and a shock, but they got it back right. Versus Carolina, they almost gave the game away. So if I'm Seattle and to Breezo point, if they letting us play physical, I'm coming out the gate and I am getting as physical as possible to disrupt these routes. I know Puka is Puka, But if you go watch, if I'm the Seahawks, I watch that Lions tape. We were still able to disrupt those routes and kind of disrupt Sean McVay and Stafford's time. And I want to find that out immediately. If we get called, we're gonna take our hands off of them. And to be honest, the game is probably over there because then you can't touch these dudes. But if I am allowed to go out there and get physical, Terry Arnold basically holding every play, but you're not calling it, I'm making it a long day for. I'm making it a long day for the Rams. Like I'm at home. I'm making it a long. I am going to do what the Lions did for Jared Goff versus the Rams. I just need you to not mess up. I just need you to complete this pass. I just need you to dirt this ball. Now here becomes a problem. Do you can you believe that Sam Darnold can at least for one night beat Jared Goff? 2023 playoffs is where you just say dirt the ball. We got you on defense. We're gonna win the field position game. I guess my question for both of y'all, do y'all feel like Sam Darnold this game, if they just calling it tight, Seattle allowed to grab them, do you believe that Sam Darnold can at least be that? Dirt the ball, make the completion. You don't even buy that Breezo. And I don't say you have to.
See,
Because
that's
he has the injury as well because of
Mason
that leg
getting
injury.
on me, and Breeze ain't got no faith in Sam.
No,
That's
no.
crazy.
Like I told you, bro, he got the oblique injury as well. So I know coming out the gate, it's a dirty tactic, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the DC is gonna say, "Yo, hit him, yeah,
In the oblique, yeah.
yeah, get him one good time, just scare him." And then what we gonna do? We're gonna start sending stunts. We're gonna start doing a lot. We're gonna send a lot of exotic things his way. But I need y'all to tag him one good time, force him, make him a runner. We gonna and we gonna do a bunch of stuff. We gonna make it very very confusing for him. And it's shown once you get in Sam Darnold's head, that's it. It's over.
I mean,
So
let me
him
say
having
this.
the record that him having the resume that he has, as
Mm-hmm.
well as the oblique injury, and if you noticed it, the past couple games, he's not as mobile as how he normally is. Like he'll break and run, but you can see that injury is bothering him. So when they send the house at him, it's either going to be him trying to extend the play running backwards, or he's going to have to run. And when he slides, is he going to slide quick enough before a linebacker comes and try to decapitate him, or is he going to slide and injure himself? So it's a bunch of stuff that's going to be going on in Sam Darnold's head. And I'm just thinking right now, all that with him being the choke artist that he usually is, bro, it's not going to be a pretty day for him. It's not.
Well, let me. I do believe Sam Darnold could at least be that, But
Mm-hmm.
am I banking on that? No. And the reason I'm not is because, gang, like I said, bro, I've seen the same song and dance from too many times in these important games, bro. Like it's just not him. And like I said, I could be wrong. He could come out and he could play the best game of his life this weekend. I don't know
Anything possible, but yeah.
exactly. But if he doesn't, and if he ends up yet again wet in the bed, um, I don't see what other reasoning you can have to still have faith in the quarterback. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I guess I look at it like I guess where it kind of gets super tricky, Tavares. Like I think Seattle really needs him to play good because I understand when you say like, man, I will be out on him. I don't even know who you replace him with. Like that becomes a problem. Like Jalen Milroe isn't ready yet. Like so, if I'm the Seahawks, like this is really the fate of our franchise probably for the next 2 years until Jalen Milroe is ready or somebody becomes on the market. Like not trying. Well, obviously, I can't put any pressure on Sam Donald more on himself, but for Seattle as a franchise, what you get Sunday night is basically your team for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
Kind of as simple as that.
for sure. But yeah, man. So I think that's gonna be a hell of a game, regardless of how it go down. But let's head off into our last segment of the night, man. Listen, folks, we got to keep 3, cut 5, man. We doing 4th overall picks, NFL edition. So we got some names here. We see who y'all boys keeping, who y'all cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So the first name I got for y'all, man, I got Amari Cooper.
Damn, man.
Mm,
Cooper boy, man. But all right, let's be strategic with this.
yeah. Can we talk? Because every fourth overall pick is not great.
And Coop was a route running motherfucker. Great at his high. He had some great highs and some shitty lows. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like Cooper's that third one. Man, I'm gonna say keep him. I don't see what you gonna say,
I'm
big.
rolling with you. Let's keep him.
All right.
Okay, so y'all keep it Coop. Okay. Next name I got for y'all, man. I got Sauce Gardner.
Damn.
Damn, bro.
All right.
We a mixed bag.
We got to cut him, man. We got to.
Yeah, because I just yeah.
We
Damn.
got to, bro. We gonna cut Sauce, man.
Okay. Cutting Sauce Gardner. All right. Next name I got, man. I got AJ Green.
Oh, I'm keeping AJ. AJ better than him.
Now, Gino. I fuck with AJ, but remember, if we take AJ, we got one spot left.
We got one spot left. I doubt we get better than AJ. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
We gonna keep him. We gonna keep him.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all keep AJ. Okay. Next name I got for y'all, man. Hey, man, probably a Hall of Famer one day. I got Phillip.
Say it again.
I got Phillip Rivers.
We gonna cut, bro.
Yeah.
I
feel like knowing T that last one we gotta keep. I'm gonna be mad if it's somebody trash though.
Man, Gino full of shit, man.
Hey, man, okay.
Man, you fuck AJ?
Yeah, I fuck with AJ, man, but come on, man.
Next name I got, man. I got Lane Johnson.
Oh, we did right, Lane. Yeah, keeping Lane. That's probably the most athletic tackle. Bro, ain't fucking with Lane.
Bro, we so early into the game, bro. I feel like Tavares got a haymaker, bro. He
ain't that 5 people? Ain't that 5
bro,
people?
just go with your gut, bro.
Like, how many we got left, bro?
I thought it was 3 and 2.
You got 2 left. Yeah, you got 2 left.
All right, Gino, hear me out.
Oh, okay. I see you saying.
I need you to roll. I need you to roll with me, bro.
More than 5. We got like 7 people. Who we got?
So right now we kept Amari.
Mm-hmm.
We kept AJ.
Mm-hmm.
We cut Phillip. We cut Sauce. Right now we at Lane.
So and we got 2 more people after that.
2 more people. I'm gonna say let's go for the cut.
All right, cutting.
I'm gonna say let's go for the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got 2 left. It's 60. Let's look at it like, bro. We got 66% chance to get somebody better, bro.
That Lane, I'm gonna trust you. We gonna cut.
All right, man. Come on. All right, let's do this. See, we
gonna
cut
Miles.
So y'all cutting Lane Johnson, man. All right, okay. Next name I got for y'all, I got Ezekiel Elliott.
We fucked up.
Yeah, Lane is better than Zeke. Yeah, but we here now. Can't go back. So now the question is, the next person better than Zeke?
Well, I think we bank on it, man.
And you gonna cut Zeke?
Yeah, we gonna cut him, man.
All right, I hope it's AP.
All right, I'm cutting Zeke. All right, next name I got Trent Williams.
I gotta go Trent, man. I don't get no better at tackle.
That's the last one, right?
Nah, there's one more.
Come on.
There's one more.
We take a Trent.
It ain't getting no better than Trent.
What I told you now. Come on now.
Already passed Lane Johnson, so we gotta go Trent.
Okay. All right, so listen, in this keep 3, cut 5, y'all chose to keep Amari Cooper. Y'all chose to keep AJ Green. Y'all chose to keep Trent Williams. Y'all cut Lane Johnson. Y'all cut Ezekiel Elliott. Y'all cut Phillip Rivers. And y'all cut Sauce Gardner. So the last person y'all have to cut Denzel Ward. So y'all boys got it. Y'all want it. I
told you what I
guess,
told you, man.
Yeah.
I guess it's a dub, but you can make an argument for Lane Johnson over Cooper and AJ. So.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we cook. I think we cook.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So, hey, listen, that'll be it for this show, guys. Appreciate for those who did tune in, who did drop the comments. Appreciate you, Mason, always, bro. But if y'all not doing so already, man, y'all go ahead, hit like, subscribe on the channel, man. Hit that bell notification to be notified whenever we do go live. Remember, 2 shows a week now, Wednesday and Thursday nights. Do not forget about the giveaways, man, that we will be conducting on the show. It's going to be for apparel. It's going to be for the opportunity to receive a signed basketball. So whoever is interested in that, you got to first subscribe to the channel, follow on Instagram. You DM me, let me know you did those things. But before we head out, man, anything else y'all want to add?
Appreciate y'all, man.
Me. Yeah.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's go, Colts. We win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.